boys and girls, I'm back. It's me, your boy, He-Bot, coming at you with another video. I want to talk about one of the topics that we talked about last night in the Exile podcast. Big shout outs over there to my brothers, E-Rock, Sega Band, Tuckmaster, and Unlimited Productions. Basically, I want to talk about the whole thing with the Medium, right? That it was leaked at the MSRB, I think it was, that it was coming to PlayStation 5 or PS4 or whatever, or PS5. And you know, I don't like to speak on rumors, so it's not something that's been actually confirmed. But at the same time, you know, if it's something that's true, you know, I want to talk about how Microsoft has a really big problem with doing more aggressive third-party exclusive deals. And this is something that they need to really start being more aggressive and change, because they're in a generation where they started with a new console where obviously they're at a disadvantage in the sense that they have a lot of first-party games in development, but these first-party games that are in development are a ways away because they're from developers that they acquired and purchased not so long ago, right? So these things take time, especially if they're going to do AAA quality style games. And so Sony obviously has an edge because they already have first-party developers and studios that they had from before, right? From you know, many years ago, that basically are, you know, finished the games that they did on PS5 or PS4 rather, like for example Santa Monica with God of War, right? Let's just say, right? For example, 600 feet, turn right. So you know, they already working on the next game, and it's going to start to look like, you know, well, they have already more first-party games than Xbox, you know, going into this generation, because they had already developers that they own and been making games for them for a little while now, right? Like, you know, Guerrilla Games with Horizon Zero Dawn, right? Forbidden Journey to the West, or Forbidden West, or whatever the hell it's actually called. So Microsoft, out of most of these companies, right? We're talking about Nintendo and Switch, needs to understand that perception, right, is the root of all evil, right? And perception is what leads sales and everything, right? Especially with the casual market. And the casual market, a casual gamer coming in, if you're trying to get more new gamers, you got to have a better perception. Even though they're giving you the best bang for your buck with the console, the perception is, oh, only PlayStation has great content, Switch has great content, only they have great games or more games or whatever the case may be, right? Even though they don't have nowhere near the features and quality and bang for your buck that the Series X offers, right? That it gives you a reason to buy it, because you're benefiting in so many different, you know, ways right off the box that actually give you real benefits, not half-assed benefits or fake ones, like Game Pass, where you buy a Game Pass subscription and you'll be able to play those day-and-date exclusives like the Medium when it came out, like Gears Hive Busters, or like Gears Tactics, right? For example, or Bright Memory, and they're in Game Pass, where you can actually try it before you buy it. You don't have to feel the sense of urgency of, oh my God, how am I going to buy for this? How am I going to pay for this? Or be afraid that if you actually go and buy a game that you really don't know much about, that you're throwing away your money and you're not going to end up liking it, like people have been doing with, let's say, Returnal, for example, on the PS5, because it's not for everyone, since it's like a roguelike type shooter, and then feel like they were robbed out of their money and can't get their money back, right? This is an option that alone really is 40% better of a reason, maybe even 50, to go get an Xbox Series X over a PS5 if you can only afford to get one, right? So again, Microsoft has to understand that perception is very, very key to success as well during generations, right? And only us hardcore understands that they're offering the best bang for your buck. Okay, but as far as casuals, they don't. That's why most casuals are so misinformed, thinking that, one, they don't have exclusive games, or two, that, you know, they don't give you anything worth buying the console for. And all that stuff comes from the perception of casuals looking at IGNs or social media outlets like on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, where they get the information that's being given to them and skewed around in wrong information 85-95% of the time about Xbox and the consoles and what they're doing and what they give and offer. And they'll go and buy a Switch or go and buy a PlayStation, right? Even though the console sales don't really make a difference because they don't really make money out of it. But it's the perception that people keep thinking that the Xbox console and brand are not really worth their money, right? So that's the biggest issue. So if you know you don't have third-party games or first-party games that are going to be ready anytime soon, like Hellblade 2, like the brand new Fable, like Valve, which we probably won't see for another 2 years at least, or maybe even 3, depending on the case, then you have to rely on these big third-party deals that you do and be aggressive. You doing them for 3 months, 5 months, 6 months is not even worth the time, because you want to give people a reason to buy the Xbox console, not just because of features, but because of games they can experience on that console, right? And it's not that I'm saying I have a problem with other people getting to play and experience the medium. I don't. But the fact of the matter is, most of these guys on PlayStation, I'm not saying all, but most of them, like 95%, they hate on the game. They hate on Xbox. They didn't care about the medium. They said it was garbage, trash. Meanwhile, people like me, or E-Rock, or 100, or Legal, or Unlimited, or we're fighting the good fight, defending the games because we know they're actually good games and they're worth the time, and we're playing, we invested, we beat them, and we know it's not trash, and we know these, and we're calling out these frauds because we know they're not playing the game, they're not trying them. And then here goes Team Bloomberg, right? Or Bloomberg team, the developer, right? And say, hey, Sony fans, hey, Switch fans, here, take the game, right? As an example, even though you guys didn't pay a dime, it was Microsoft who paid them for Observer. It was Microsoft who paid them for Layers of Fear 1 and 2 because they were first on Xbox. For Blair Witch, it was on Game Pass and first on Xbox, and now Medium. And then they want to go and put it on Sony camp, right? For example, when those guys, one, hated the game, they don't give a shit about the game, and they can see it because they have their people that look at social media, right? They have a whole division set up for that, where they have people that look at their social media handles to see the feedback. And they're going to go and give it to them just because the perception is, oh, PlayStation 5 is outselling Xbox Series X probably at this point, right? Which the reason why it's doing that is because it's the popular console. Every casual out there is like, I want a PS5. I got to get one. It must be fantastic. And it's really scalpers buying them with their bots and their software program of bots to sell them for like astronomical prices. They're even doing it with the Xbox Series X as well, just not as much as the PlayStation, right? So because Xbox also has the Xbox All Access program that kind of eliminates the fear of bots getting their hands on the console, because you can only do it one person at a time. You got to prove who you are, show your account, social security, all types of shit that you can't put a bot to go in there and do multiple accounts and buy, let's say, 10 Xbox Series X's so you can sell them a Macari. You can't do that. And that Xbox Series All Access helps Xbox eliminate that factor, because Sony doesn't have a program to offer that like that. So again, if you know you have less first-party studio games, and this is me talking to Microsoft, right? Not that they're going to see my video anyway, but I'm speaking in case someone does, right? Like Aaron or something like that, right? Because he follows me. So if that's the case, then be more aggressive and make these deals like Sony's doing. Look what they did with Kena, Deathloop, what they did with Final Fantasy 15 or 7 remake. They're almost a year, and some of them 2 years, right? As far as how the exclusivity goes. Now they just extended the one for the DLC, which probably makes it another more year, like a whole more year before we even get it on Xbox, right? Because they know they don't have first-party games. So the way they're doing it is by sustaining it. The way they're doing it is by making third-party deals that are more aggressive, right? That are more aggressive. So that way, until their games that are first-party come out, they have these third-party games to make it look like they got all this great exclusives. And I think that Microsoft does have games like this that are probably going to be long-term, like the Gunk, because the guy has said it several times on Twitter. Even something like the Scorn, like Crossfire X. I think these are long-term exclusives, which is good because they're third-party, but they'll be long-term. But this is what they got to do with every single one of their exclusives that are third-party from this point going forward. At least until they have their first-party games coming out more frequently and be more available or be closer to window of release from each other for this gen. Because then people are just going to make a mockery again. Like I said, they're going to start making fun, saying they have no games and it's not worth getting. And then the casuals coming in or looking from the outside in are going to be like, well, what's the point of getting an Xbox if they don't got no games, if on a PlayStation? And that's where that rhetoric and nonsense comes from. Even though hardcore gamers or real gamers know that that's not the case. It's not as simple as black and white. But again, like I said, this is something that it's a problem. Microsoft has had this problem for quite some time, and they really need to change it. Because if they're paying big money to put games on Game Pass, or paying big money to publish these games or market these games and even fund some of these games for these developers, and then the developers just leave it there for like 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, why? It's not even worth it. For that, don't even bother. Let it be an exclusive or a multi-plat. Don't bother. Don't bother. Because the whole reason you want people to buy your console that you brought out is so that they can have the best experiences of those games on those consoles. And if you're giving them games that can only be made on next-gen consoles, like the Medium, because it runs 2 engines at once, then leave it exclusive for a long time. Because that is going to make your console more appealing. Maybe that's not the reason why people just buy consoles, of course not. But it'll make it much more attractive and appealing from the casual markets that are coming in, that are new, or that are curious and like, oh, I want an Xbox this generation because it looks good, that maybe we're on Nintendo or maybe we're on Sony only. You see what I'm saying? And this is how you win the perception battle, because perception is very important. Whether people want to admit it or not, perception is key to success in console generations. Or with anything, really. Like people think, a Lexus is better than a Toyota, and don't even realize that Toyota makes the engine for Lexuses. You see what I'm saying? So, they're kind of in the same family, but they don't realize that. So they'll go buy a Lexus, right? Even though it's within the same family, just like Microsoft. They're with PC, unified, because they are PC as well. But people look at PC as higher quality, let's say, than the Series X. Even though the Series X is offering you a greater high-quality experience for a fraction of a cost of a high-end PC, you see? Kind of like that philosophy or analogy, right? So yeah, look, they just rated Oddworld to come to Xbox. A lot of people are not going to talk about it, but Oddworld is a lot smaller game. It's a lot more niche. People ain't going to pay attention to that. Plus, Oddworld wasn't on PlayStation Now, where they got it free, or Sony paid him up front. No. He put it there by choice because that's where he kind of started his career. So he wanted to keep loyalty. And that's what these developers that work with Microsoft, especially these new up-and-coming indie developers, need to start to realize and show a little bit more gratitude, loyalty, respect, or, appreciation that these guys are giving you the step of the way to get there. And then you turn your back on them because you're worrying about getting clout somewhere else. And that's why you see Phil be like, okay, that's it, end of relationship. That's why Moon Studios' next game, for them, it's not going to be published by Microsoft no more. It's going to be another publisher, because they did Ori 1 and 2 and then cried because they wanted it on the Switch. And I think even on PlayStation. I don't know if it is, but I think it is. I'm not sure. So that's an example. Or Studio MDHR that did Cuphead. Same thing. That's why they haven't finished their DLC, because they're not getting no funds, because they put it on the Switch and they put it on PlayStation 4, thought they were going to make all this boatloads of money, and guess what? It didn't. It made money on PC, it made money on the Xbox, and they didn't make money over there. So now they're like scratching their head, how are we going to fund this? So now they got to look for another developer, or publisher rather, to publish their game. And that's how Microsoft's doing it. That's how Phil's doing it. I get it. But it's still principle. So, guys, that's what I wanted to talk about with Medium. It sucks if it is coming. It is still a rumor, so I don't like speaking on rumors. But if it is, this is what Microsoft needs to change. Just like Oddworld is coming to Xbox as a rumor as well. It's not guaranteed, but there's a big difference between you paying somebody to put a game on your Game Pass and paying all that money to someone that put it there just because they're a loyalist to a brand and wanted it there, and they didn't get paid a dime. Big difference. Very big difference. So let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs down. If you didn't like the video, and as well, share the video with someone you think might like it. And for those that always come and rock out with me and support, thank you guys. Without you, I am nothing. I love you guys very much. I appreciate you guys very much, as always. Remember that, if you're new to my channel, I really appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. If you subscribed and like what I did, I really appreciate it, because I know you didn't have to. But if you did, remember, I consider you now part of my family. As always, you can find me on social media on Twitter, under C_respect, which I don't know if I'm even going to ever be able to come back. As far as I know, it's not. And on Instagram is C_respect. And on Twitter is Hebot Powerful Gamer. That's what it was. I'm sorry. I might have to do another account. I don't know. And on Xbox Live and Switch, under Hebot 8. On PlayStation, I'm under Alpha from Sky. You can find me on my YouTube here on Hebot. And guys, yeah, let me know what you think. Like I said, if you guys ever want to help me out in any way, shape, or form, you know how to do so from the kindness of your heart, if you have the means to, because you want to help me grow and get bigger. It's all down in the description below with my Patreon and my PayPal account information. Or if you want to donate something you want me to showcase on the channel, it would be my pleasure. I will, an honor to do so. Just hit me up on the DM on one of those social media platforms, and we'll work out the particulars. So, guys, this is Hebot signing off. I'll see you real soon. Love you. Be blessed. Have a great day. It's hot as heck right now. And stay safe. All right? Peace. See you then.